Welcome to Derek's Reptiles. You just bought your first reptile. Somebody hit that applause button. Congratulations, man. Don't go anywhere. This video is for you. Today we're going to talk about 5 things new reptile owners need to know.
Make sure to subscribe to Derek's Reptile channel. Go show that some love and all that type of stuff because we need good content out there.
Number 1, ignore Petsmart. Ignore Petco. When you walk in and that associate is speaking to you, this is what I want you to hear. If you're at a Petsmart, if you're at a Petco, just get your animal and go. Ignore whatever they tell you because Petsmart is a business. They're not there to help you. They're there to make a quick buck. That's how all businesses are. 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you your animal and give you a little bit of information, a small packet, but it's not enough. Get your animal, ignore what they tell you, go home and do your own research because PetSmart is notorious for having their animals set up with the incorrect temperature, the incorrect humidity, the incorrect everything. So what I recommend is just, I can't say this enough. If you're at a PetSmart, get your animal and go. Go home, do your own research. It's gonna help you in the long run. It's just, this video could go on forever. PetSmart does so much stuff that I just don't agree with, like cohabitation. If you were there, you might have seen the leopard geckos. They're known for having 6 or 7 leopard geckos in one tank, and that's wrong. Leopard geckos are solitary creatures and they like being alone. So I just implore you, don't listen to what they tell you. If that's all that's around you, get your animal, get your feeders or your whatever you need to feed your animal with, go home and do your own research. You'll thank me later. The second thing I want to talk about is feeding your animal. Feeding your animal is so important, but not just feeding it correctly is the key.
Major key to success.
I get it. You get your animal home, you love it, you want to watch it eat, so you feed it, but that is not the right way to feed it. You have to learn your animal's appropriate time of when they eat. Do they need to be fed every 2 weeks? Do they need to be fed every 3 weeks? You know, if you overfeed your animal, your snake or frog or whatever you have is going to look like the clumps.
Time we get depressed, we eat and eat and eat. Don't you? You go to the store and you buy those little candy bars in the bag, and before you know it, the whole bag is empty. And then at the end, you feel just like that bag. Empty inside. Don't you? Don't you? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just get it all out. Yes, I can. Say this.
Obesity happens quickly in reptiles, and that was something that I had to learn. I wanted to feed my animals, I wanted to power feed them, and that's a whole nother subject, but there are people that power feed their snakes out there or their reptiles, and it's just the wrong way to take care of your animals. So do your research on feeding, figure out the appropriate way to feed your animal, because you got to think, you know, I have multiple snakes, and I wanted to feed them every week. But in the wild, they don't eat like that. You know, a snake might find a meal, eat it, and might not find another meal for another month. You know, they don't eat every week. You know, every 2 weeks is, you're kind of pushing it, but you can try it. You just have to learn what is just the best for your reptiles and go with it. So I implore you, figure out your animal and learn how to feed it so it doesn't die faster, because obesity will kill your animal quickly. You know, so just look up how to feed them. The next subject I want to talk about is get help. You're not alone. You bought a reptile, you're at home by yourself, you're not alone. There are millions of people out there that have had reptiles before you. So do your research, whether that be go to the library and get some books, hop on the internet and look at some care guides. Just do your research. There's hundreds of groups out there. Hop on Facebook. There's thousands of snake groups, thousands of reptile groups and amphibian groups that people will help you. They will answer your questions and not make you feel dumb. You know, there's groups on YouTube. I'm in a YouTube reptile community. There's some awesome guys in there that will help me. You know, they help me if I'm stuck, if I don't know something, I can reach out to one of them and ask them a question. And I don't feel dumb doing it. So I implore you, get help from multiple sources, not just me, because I don't have all the answers.
Back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers.
Next, we're going to talk about hides and substrate. I implore you to figure out the correct substrate for your animal. Substrate is important. It will help you because there's some snakes that like aspen. There's some snakes that can go on coconut husk that holds humidity better, like ball pythons. You know, do your research. I would have never knew that. Aspen is bad for ball pythons. It doesn't hold humidity well and it molds. So do your research on your substrate because it's another form of enrichment for your snake. They're gonna, if they have the correct substrate, they're gonna burrow and make tunnels and they're gonna enjoy themselves. And your snake is just gonna thrive. So get the right substrate, and not just substrate, hides. Hides are so important. Like, I have a ton of snakes and I love my snakes. Do they love me back? Absolutely not. Snakes are not dogs. They actually don't like you and they just tolerate you. That's it. Snakes tolerate you. And if they could, they would hide all day. So I implore you, get multiple hides, at least 2 or 3 hides, throw some leaves in there. You want your snake to feel secure that when it moves from this side of the tank to that side, they feel safe and they hide from you. Because like I said, snakes are not dogs. Dogs love you. Snakes actually hate you. They just tolerate you. So I implore you, get multiple hides and your snake will be happy. Trust me. And last but not least, thermostats, temperature gauges, and humidity. These 3 things are so important. Whatever animal you have, you want it to have the correct temperature because temperatures help the snake digest food. They need to be able to thermoregulate. So you need a hot spot, you need a cold spot, you need an in-between spot. Some animals need a basking spot. Temperatures are so important. So whatever animal you have, do your research and figure out what temperature that reptile or animal needs to be kept at. And not just that, you know, a lot of reptiles, we get heat mats and, you know, new reptile owners don't know that you need a thermostat. Heat mats will burn your reptile. So get a thermostat and understand what temperature that heat mat is in. And not just that, do your research on humidity. I had to learn this the hard way. I had snakes that got a respiratory infection and I noticed it. Humidity is important. Spray your tanks down, not once, not twice, but 3 times a day if they need high humidity. If they don't need humidity, just learn humidity. If you have a corn snake, it needs moderate humidity. If you need if you have a ball python, it's going to need a higher humidity. So just whatever you have, look up its humidity because it'll save you. Because the wrong humidity will cause your animal to get a respiratory infection and it's a headache. You don't want it. So trust me. Temperature gauges, thermostats, and humidity. Do your research. It's going to save you a lot of time. Well, I'm getting ready to get out of here. This is Derek's Reptiles. If you've watched this whole video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and drop me a question in the comments, man. I love interacting with people. I appreciate you for watching. Peace.